Hey guys, so I just want to say, for example, that on video, what you can do is you can express your authentic self. Okay. So let's say you're around people. Okay. You're around people, but you're just very quiet around them. You're very quiet around them, and you may take baby steps with them in terms of talk to them in baby steps. But what you understand about yourself now is that you can make a video. Okay. You can make a video and you can basically post it online, okay? And in your video, you can be authentic with yourself. You can be authentic with who you are. You understand? You can make content for yourself. You can make a profile for yourself. You can make something that you feel necessary, that you feel that is necessary for you to get to a better stage in your life. Okay, so some people, for example, in other ways, for example, when they watch a certain video, okay, they might feel disconnected because they're not getting the same treatment that that person is. Okay, but I want to say to you right now that you give yourself the treatment that you feel you deserve. Okay, you give yourself the treatment of going into the truth. Go into the truth of life and go and connect with yourself. Because let's say you want a woman, let's say you want a man, okay? But you have to get to level 3 to get a woman or a man. Because on level 1 or 2, they're not going to want you. Because on level 1, you're living with your parents, and no woman or man's going to want you when you're living with your parents. Or level 2, you moved out of house, you moved out of your house, you're no longer living with your parents, but you're traveling. And when you're traveling on level 2, okay, and you're living in temporary accommodation, no woman or man's going to want you on level 2 either. So on level 3, when you got your own rental, okay, then you can start building. You got a 9-to-5 job from that point, and from that point you can go and make a life for yourself, and you can work a 9-to-5 job, and you can basically help yourself to get to a better stage in your life. So for example, myself, I've been going to school lately, okay? Recently I've been going to school, and I've been coming to school late, and I've been running late on my assessments. And also, for example, I didn't show up to some classes that I should have went to, for example. But you have to realize, I understand something, that my work and my true work that I do is what I do with my passions. It's what I do with my passion, okay? My life coaching and my music production. That's who I am. I'm life coaching and music production, okay? So I do whatever it takes every single day to make as much content as I can for myself personally, to look better, to feel better, and to grow with the time of where I am in life. Okay, so I want to do much better for myself. I want to grow myself into a better state of mind. So, for example, recently I smoked cigarettes, okay? I smoked 6 cigarettes, okay? And this, I took to account that I go and use some nicotine lozenges so that I don't go back to cigarettes, okay? But you have to realize that temptation's everywhere, okay? Temptation is everywhere. And those people who are tempted in life by things, okay, usually at some point, someone around you is not going to encourage you to keep moving forward with your life. So let's say you live with a dad who's a smoker, and you become a non-smoker, but he's going to keep smoking in front of you and everything. And he's not going to encourage your path of a non-smoker, okay? Because what's normalized in his house is smoking. And when you're around him and he's smoking and you're not smoking, you're always looking at him smoking. And because it's in your house, now you feel, oh, let's connect with my dad, for example, and then you connect with him and he's smoking while he's connecting with you, and you guys are having a good conversation, and he's smoking, And then you feel maybe I should have a smoke with my dad because we're connecting so good. Like we're having a good connection, me and my dad. So what happens is then you realize that he goes somewhere and then you're smoking in the next minute. You know, so you have to realize, be a non-smoker and start helping yourself to realize that you have to get to a point where you're coaching people, okay? You're coaching people and you're basically making a profile about you and you're basically helping yourself to make something of your life. You're making information products, you're making something of information, okay? And now I've got so much information online, okay? I've got a lot of information online about me personally, okay? And whatever engagement I do get, I'm grateful for it, okay? I'm grateful for the engagement I do get because I do get some kind of engagement on my social media. And now, is it going to make me money? No, it's not. None of anything that I do online is not going to make me money, okay? It's not going to make me any money. Because by the time I make money on YouTube, I'm already gone from this world, okay? So why do I say that? Because the thing is that, like, I suck with SEO, okay? I suck with SEO. And besides that, like, I don't want to hire an SEO expert, for example, because I would have to give them thousands of dollars and thousands of dollars and thousands of dollars to basically boost my engagement on YouTube, for example, just on YouTube. Yeah, and like just to see more numbers, for example. But for me personally, that's not even the point anymore. You know, it's not even in my being to go give thousands of dollars for my YouTube channel. Do you know why? Because first of all, I'd rather have that money in my pocket for myself to go see my mum, to give some money to my dad, and to live myself, okay? To go live and do things in my daily life that I feel that is necessary for me to do, which is my content creation. So I'd rather go and create content, okay, with my life and be passionate about my passions and post that online, and whoever sees, you know. I impact the world. I promise you, I impact one person in the world. I've helped this whole world. You know, I've helped the whole world by impacting just one person. You know, so like when I see other people, they got thousands of views, they got thousands of this, thousands of likes, they got thousands of comments, you know. And then when I look at my profile, I look at all my information that I built over time, all my information, how I grew as a person throughout that time, what I said during those programs, what I done during those programs. And it's all now in terms of who I am today, you know. So I, for example, I still express my authentic self. I am my authentic self. I am an authentic person. And my authenticity goes on my YouTube channel. It goes on my social media. It goes on my profile online about me. You know, so everything you see online about Danny Milivojevic, that's me. That's my true authenticity about who I am as a person, okay? So you have to realize that, for example, I go to poker. For example, let's say a person goes to poker, but they're very quiet. They're very quiet at the poker, okay? Or when they're with a woman or anything, they're very quiet. Like, it's like they haven't hit the authenticity mark with those people, for example. You know, but the thing is that in life, you take baby steps with people. Baby steps in your daily life, okay? So, for example, with your dad, take little baby steps. Say a word, say 2 words, say 3 words, and then go into your room and relax. You understand? So you have to realize that my true authenticity of who I am as a person is basically what I do online. It's what I do on my YouTube channel. It's what I do for you on my channel. You know, I hope to God that one day, for example, you know, I'm in eternity with God and I'm looking down at this world and I can say, yep, this guy's looking at my content, or this person's looking at my content. Look how I'm impacting the world. Look how I'm helping the world to succeed through my channel. And let's say one person, like I hope to God, that one person goes through all my content, for everything that I ever made. You know, like for example, because that's going to make me feel good in eternity. It's going to make me feel good like I'm helping this world. Like I made a difference in the world. That Danny Milivojevic didn't do all this work for nothing, you know? Like I done something. Look at my face. Look how I look. You know? I'm looking much better. I'm looking heaps better. Okay? Besides the cigarettes that I smoked just recently, you know, I smoked cigarettes just recently because, you know, my dad, I was connecting with him and everything, and it seems like the thing to do with him because he normalizes cigarettes in the house. And then inside my house, it's like, oh, because I talk with my dad and I live with my dad and he smokes cigarettes and all that, and I'm talking to him and we're really vibing, we're having a conversation, you know, and he's smoking, and I'm feeling, oh, maybe I should smoke just to connect with my dad, you know. But that's how it was, you know, that's how it was, you know. But I'm better now. I'm doing much better because I realized something. Cigarettes is a hard and heavy duty thing. It's very heavy duty cigarettes, okay? But you have to realize I want to be myself. I want to be myself in front of people, you know, for example, my finances or whatever it is about my life. You know, people set a lot of expectations on other people and they wish that other people, or they don't wish that other people, but they don't wish for other people. You know, I promise you what they wish for, okay, is that they go and better themselves, okay? But you have to realize that some people are not bettering themselves. Some people are not in the mindset to be able to talk on a YouTube channel and to make a YouTube channel and all that. But when I look at my social media and I look at their social medias online, okay, I can see many people from the past that I know, that I used to know, none of them have a social media profile, for example, that they're consistent on, that they're making profile, that they're making a YouTube channel, that they're making something of a lot of content for other people. You know, so like I can see I'm ahead. I'm ahead in that aspect. That I made all this content on my profile. You know, it didn't go for nothing, you know. I had a good time. I had a good time making those videos. I had a good time expressing myself. I had a good time just posting it online just so that I can get a view, you know. But, you know, I never got millions of views. I never got millions of views, you know. What I got, for example, was engagement. I got engagement from people online. You know, I get engagement from people, you know. And engagement is just engagement, you know. Like no matter what I post on the internet, on YouTube or anything, I never make money on it. I never make money on it. I don't know why. Because is that because it's not anything because of me, or is it? Is it because of me? Is it because I didn't put in money to hire an SEO expert? No, because an SEO expert is going to cost me tens and thousands of dollars to build my YouTube channel, okay, so that I can get paid just a little bit of money. You know, so I give $50,000 to an SEO expert, but I'm making maybe $200. Well, I'm making $200 a year. You know, and it doesn't cut it. You know, so that's why I don't want to hire an SEO expert, because an SEO expert, they're just freelancers, okay, but they do help. You know, and you have to realize that you want to get to a point in your life where you're successful, okay? You want to be successful, you want to be very confident in yourself, and you want to be authentic with other people, okay? You want to be able to do your work with other people. You want to be able to grow yourself, your potential, grow everything that you are in life, and make a lot of content for people and start helping yourself to grow as much as possible and live a great life. and you want to coach other people, and you want to do the best job you can for other people, but for yourself, for yourself first. I try to do God's work. I try to do a lot of God's work. And what's God's work for me? What do I define God's work as? Anything that gives information, anything that's a service provider of information, information provider. I'm an information provider. I provide my thoughts, my being, my words, my encouragement, my motivation, my success, everything that I am, I post that online, okay? I don't know if I'll ever become famous, okay? But you have to realize that, imagine you are famous. You're famous now, what happens? You get some opportunities, I promise you, other people maybe put you in a magazine, they put you on TV, and it's like you still have to live your life. You still have to go get your own opportunities, and those people of the past are not even going to contact you, even though you're famous. So you still have to build new friendships. You still have to build your own vocabulary, build your own things, build your own channel, build your own everything. So you have to express yourself, and you have to showcase your skills in the world, okay? You want to be able to help yourself to express yourself every single day. For example, I make content and then I have to upload it online. I have to upload this stuff online, okay? And for me to upload one video online can take me between 20 minutes to 2 hours to 3 hours to upload one video, okay? And it's time consuming. And then within that 2-3 hours of making content or of posting online content, I could have made even more videos. I could have made another hour program. I could have made more content for other people, So, for example, everything you see on my YouTube channel, I uploaded that myself. Everything I built on YouTube and on my social media, I posted that all myself. I did all that by myself. I took all those photos of myself to brand myself, to do everything myself, to get some wisdom from this life, to grow myself, to everything. I did everything on my own on social media. Everything you see about me online is because I put it there. I put it there. I put it on social media. So I hope one day I'm with God, for example. God says to me, Danny, look, you've sinned, okay? You've sinned. You did some bad things in life, for example, and, I want to say you've helped people. Imagine God saying this to me, like you've done some bad things, you've sinned, but I can see your heart, I forgive you for what you've done in your life. I know that you've been trying to help people. I know you've been trying to showcase your skills. I know you've been trying to help other people just in your own kind of way, I've been trying to help people in my own way. I've been trying to help people basically with what I do in my daily life. I read and I summarize everything, I learn something, and then I put it into a video. And I make it for myself to give it to you. So I want to say, like me around people, you would understand, for example, that in real life you met me. I promise you, if you met me in real life, I'd be very quiet with you. I'd be very quiet. Do you know why? Because other people make me feel, they make me feel like I'm very small. Other people, like people around me, they make me feel like I'm very small. Like they're very big success, but my success is very small. That's how they make me feel. And why do I have to even be around those people? That's why I stay away from people. That's why I stay away from a lot of people. Because those people, they all think they're very smart. They all think they're very smart. That they're very smart individuals. They think they're very smart. And listen, like I can go up to a person and I can say, let me coach you for fuck's sake. Let me coach you. Let me help you. I can do it for free. But, in this world, Mother Earth, nothing is done for free. Everything I do online is for free. Everything I do online is for free. It's totally for free. But it's my passion. It's what I do. And I like to put myself on video. I like to give my thoughts to people. And I see, for example, many people are not doing that. Some people do it just through music. Some people do it through paintings. But I'm doing it through music and life coaching. I'm doing it through photos, So you have to realize that, of course, you want to make a difference. You want to make a difference in your life. But what I've noticed, for example, in my life over the years, that I've been making some content outdoors. I've been making some content indoors, But mostly I've been making content at home. I've been making content at home from where I am. And for me, it's very important to be with family. It's very important to be with family. Because I understand how it is without family. My mum my mum left me when I was 8, okay? And I've been living with my dad in Australia, Sydney, since I was the age of 8, okay? Of course, I visited my mum. She came to visit me, and I'll be with my mum, I'm still going to go see her on June 20th, 2025. But you have to realize that I like to do my work, okay? I like to do my work. And I like to express myself in front of people. I like to show that I'm a public speaker. I like to show people that I've got something to say. That I've got education, that I've got life skills, that I'm learning myself something about life and putting into videos and making content. I want, for example, God to say, Danny, you've done a good work in the world. I want God to say, hey, I recognize your work. I recognize what you've done for people. Even though I didn't get many views for my content, I got some engagement. I got some engagement, And I helped the world in some kind of way, either with a quote or video or a photo or on YouTube or social media or TikTok, Snapchat, whatever it is. I helped the world in some kind of way. I impacted the world in some kind of way. I helped in some kind of way. And that's the main thing. That's all I want to do. I just want to help. I want to help in my way. I want to help myself and other people in an authentic kind of way that I can project my confidence and everything I am toward other people in a positive light. Okay? Of course, everyone's done some bad things in life. Everyone's done something wrong, okay? You have to realize, And you have to realize everyone's gone a different path as well. Everyone's on a different path. Everyone's gone their own ways, So we have to focus on a better life, okay? We have to focus on helping ourselves to succeed. And each video I do make, I feel more accomplished. I feel better when I see 2,600 videos on my YouTube channel. I feel good about that. It goes to show my work ethic. At 32, to have 2,600 videos of Danny Milivojevic and my experience on YouTube, that makes me feel good. But in a way, I feel I am getting engagement, but I feel, let's say, I want to hit a bigger mark. I want to hit more engagement, okay? Everyone does. Everyone wants to hit more engagement. But the more you post online, the more engagement you get. You know what I'm saying? So the more videos you make of yourself and post it online every single day, or post photos, or post on social media somewhere, your content or whatever, every single day you do this repeatedly over time, someone's watching you. Someone's watching you. But I also want to say something about the blue check mark on Instagram and when you leave people from the past. When you leave a certain community and when you start leaving people and you go your own direction and you go away from people, okay, then you're gone this way, for example, where you're no longer surrounded by people of the past and you no longer know where they are going and you no longer are connected to them in a way like you're not in the know-how of things of where they are, what they're doing, and who they're with or whatever. You don't know what they're doing with their life, okay? But, for example, they can all search me up. They can all search me up. They can see what I'm doing on social media. But in my personal life, I keep a lot of people away from me. I keep a lot of people away from me. I don't let anyone in my house except my dad and myself, But you have to realize that I let people who need to be in my house, I let them be in my house, okay? For example, but, someone may knock on the door. I open the door, all this kind of stuff. But, like, for example, from people of the past, I don't invite them in my house. I don't invite them in my house. I got some people's contact numbers. I don't even contact them. Because 10 years has gone by, or 5 years, or 6 years, and they have not messaged me. They've not messaged me. I spent some time with them, or whatever it is. Like, some people I spent a lot of time with, and they either blocked me, or, for example, they no longer surround themselves with me, or whatever it is. I'm a positive individual, okay? I'm a positive individual, okay? I have good to give, and some bad things have happened to me, Some bad things have happened to me. But in the midst of all this, some good things have happened to me too. So each video I make is a personal reflection of my work ethic and who I am. So I'm a social media influencer. I don't play games in my daily life. I don't have an Xbox. I don't have a PS3. I don't have a PlayStation 4. Okay. I don't play FIFA. I don't play computer games. All I do in my daily life is I write. I make content for YouTube. I make content for social media. And I do a lot of writing. And I do a lot of just making content. Making music, and stuff like that. Making content, learning social media, learning basically to make content for people, posting that online, posting my thoughts, posting what I think about on social media, making quotes. That's what I do. I don't even watch movies. I don't watch movies at all. I promise you, if I was to watch a movie, I'd go to the cinema. I go to cinemas to watch movies. Okay? Any movie I like, I watch at the big screen. But as far as sitting at home watching TV at home, like I may put on the news channel. I'll put on the news channel and I'll write to the news channel. I just write. I do my code zero, okay? And now code zero is something that really helps me. Okay, it's a very complex way of thinking. It's a complex way of thinking. Okay, for example. But it helps me to just keep writing. I just keep writing and writing and writing. When I'm uploading content online, I'm air writing. Basically, I'll go for a drive. I'll go for a drive. I'll maybe go play a poker game, for example. Just to be around people, just to get out of the house, and all this. That's my life, I call my mum. I'll call my mum, I may message someone on social media, for example. That's basically the life I live, And, I'm trying to develop myself. I'm trying to develop myself to become the person and the version of myself that I'm meant to be. That I'm meant to be a better version of myself every single day. Every single day developing, every single day doing much better for myself. But I'm more confident now. I'm more confident now than I've ever been. Okay, in a way. Because I look much better now. I look better now than I ever did in my life. Even though I have some health issues, okay? I have a little bit of health issues, like sexual health issues and stuff like that. But you have to realize that I'm going into my life, I'm going into somewhere where I need to be, you know. And I'm focusing on my life. I'm focusing on just providing information, you know. And that's it, you know. Every single day I'm focusing on my life. I'm focusing on who I am. I'm focusing on my deliverance of what I can deliver. I'm focusing on just my life, you know, just showcasing my life, you know, showcasing my life to people, you know, and who follows me, you know. That's it, you know, like I try to make titles for YouTube. I try to make the best looking titles for people so they can watch my YouTube videos or whatever. I try to put myself in thumbnails, as you can see in my YouTube videos. Uh, Everything on my YouTube channel is all my photos of me on my thumbnails. You know, like I went all out. You know, I went all out with my YouTube, with my social media. You know, and I really put in the effort. You know, like that's something I'm grateful for. You know, I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for the social media I do have, because someone sees my social media, and I impacted the world in that kind of way. You know, and that helps. You know, that helps when people can follow me through photos. They can see how I developed. They can see how I done things in my life. And then I wonder why do women, like, why are those women not with me? You know, I wonder why. Is it because of my finances? Is it because of my weight? Or is it because I'm not around them? It could be all three, you know. Or is it because I don't have my own rental? What is it? What is it? You know. So I have everything I ever need. You know, I've got myself. You know, and I can stay single for life. You know, I can stay single for life. For me, you know, whether I have kids or not, you know, for me, if I have kids, I have kids. You know, that kind of thing. You know, of course, I'd like to to have kids. I'd like to have kids in my life. You know, but at the moment, in this right now, at the moment, like, I don't have kids right now. You know, but maybe in 10 years' time, maybe in 20 years' time, I develop myself better and better and better, and I work on myself, my YouTube channel. I work on social media, whatever it is. I develop myself over time. Eventually, maybe I can get to the point where I feel more confident and more able to step out into the marketplace or go wherever I need to go and meet someone special. You know what I'm saying? But first, I want to get really confident. I want to build my foundation. I want to build who I am. I want to build my authenticity. I want to build my confidence. Okay, I want to build my mindset. I want to build my success. I want to eventually just step in front of people. But it's like this whole road to get there. You know, it doesn't happen in a day. You know, so I want to get very knowledgeable about who I am and what I do. You know, that's why I make all these programs. That's why I make all this music. That's why I make all this life coaching stuff, because it's my passion, and I'm just going all in on my passions. You know, what else is there to do? You know, I want to do my passions all day long. I want to do what I do for myself. I want to enjoy my life. Don't you want to enjoy your life? Of course you do. Everyone does. You know, that's why, you know, they say never give a person advice. You know, but that's something that can really fuck you up. That saying, don't give people advice. I say give people advice. Give people advice on your social media. You know, just post it online somewhere and let them come on your profile and see it. You know, that's what you do. You can post your advice on social media. But in daily life, you don't have to give anyone advice unless they ask for it. You know, that's what I've learned, because before I'd go up to people and I'd say, you have to quit smoking because that's bad for you. And they get the shits. Or you must not drink alcohol. That's going to kill you. You know? And that'll make them feel shit. You know? So don't give people advice in daily life unless they ask you for it. But go on social media and make a profile and post all the advice that you have toward them, you know, and that's it. You don't even have to send them links. You don't even have to send them information. And just post it on your profile on social media. Yeah, that's all you do.